this story come out, this Nolan Wells situation is getting crazier and crazier by the day, right? So they go out, the Cajun Navy, these people are volunteers. Y'all remember the Cajun Navy during the time when the levees broke in New Orleans and the black church didn't have any boats to go out there and save any black folks, right? They ain't have nothing. They got the money for Jesus, but they ain't had no boats. Y'all remember I was doing videos on that talking about that, right? Long time ago, I was talking about that, right? But the Cajun Navy, they was out there saving black folks down there. Well, the Cajun Navy went out looking for Nolan Wells, and his body showed up like the next day, like just washed the shore or whatever, right? But the grandfather was asking questions, and he's like a retired Marine or retired serviceman, right? And everybody's been asking these questions, but they was interviewing one of the Cajun Navy men, and he said this:
we were not on the island; we were in the air.
And from your understanding, was the body again believed to be Noah? Was it found in the same area as where the 18-year-old was last seen?
As I appreciate it, was within close proximity to that northwest corner of the island. Quickly.
Can you walk us through the timeline from the moment that Nolan was reported missing?
Sure. So to the best of my knowledge, again, I didn't get a call till that next day. As I appreciate, late that evening, Nolan was on the beach. The vessel that he came with left, and from there, we don't know what happened, right? Again, I'm just a volunteer, I'm running volunteer operations. I'm not law enforcement. So what happened really isn't what I'm looking for. What I look for a search is that last known location, and then specifics about the area or specifics about the person. Knowing that northwest corner of Horn Island was what we call the LKL, last known location. From there, we looked at the weather conditions, tidal conditions, wind conditions to come up with a plan, come up with a grid on what we could do. As within 30 to 45 minutes of when I got notification of him missing from the family and then from the mother, we had surface vessels, that's boats, that were in the area starting to search. We also had 2 drones that were in the air, as well as boots on the ground on the island doing a manual walk to look for Nolan there.
Now, the United Cajun Navy, right, these are some Southern W boys, right? They got their militia groups, they got ships, they got firearms, they got drones, they got planes, they got everything. What we got? It's funny how whenever something go wrong in the South with all those things in regards to the waters and stuff, those W folks is coming down there saving us. The black church ain't got none of that stuff, man. And I'm gonna keep saying that because we need to keep reiterating on that. Those same people we calling racist is the same people that that they're requesting to come save our black asses. Like, it's crazy, man. It's a sad thing, man. It's a sad thing. But let me proceed, right? Christopher Wells, which is the grandfather of Nolan Wells, Christopher Wells Sr., he came out and said, too many unanswered questions. How can an island that was searched yesterday produce my grandson's body this morning? There's nothing right about this. Nolan Xavier Wells deserved the same things that people he knew and associated with enjoyed life, right? Then somebody said, sir, this is the exact question I had when they immediately said they found his body on land. I have not slept since I've heard his mom cry out for help to search for him early Sunday morning. I am praying for your family. Stop at nothing to get justice for your grandson. The truth is out there, but painted narratives will be played. We all stand behind your family, right? So there's a lot of people asking questions. But even the United Cajun Navy, they even had questions and said, man, this don't seem right.
The United Cajun Navy, they're a volunteer group who helps search for Nolan, but they also say that they have questions too. Let's listen.
I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it. The only problem I have with that story is that if the people in the boat knew he was trying to swim to it and they saw him getting carried off with the current, they would have known about it. They would have been able to react to it. Not only that, even if that wasn't the case, if he went into the water at all and became distressed, it was so crowded that day that it seems hard to believe that nobody would have noticed a distressed swimmer in the water. What I do know is that he went out there with a number of boys that has been his regular friend group since he was young. They were ready to leave at about 3 o'clock. They told him it's time to go. I was told he had started talking to a young lady, and he wanted to hang back and keep talking to her, and that he would believe that he could get another ride.
I believe that they're not going to be able to cover this up because there's too many people speaking, and there's too many W folks that's speaking against them. It's too many W folks that's not riding with this. They're not okay with this, right? And the Cajun Navy was even questioning this. And we already know from Katie Cormack and so many other people said it was a lot of people on the island. There was a lot of boats out there. So there's no way in the world he would have stayed behind and nobody would have saw him drowning, right? We know that they had a beer or whatever they was drinking, but there's some foul play here. Now maybe those boys left from there and it was other people on the island and somebody unalived him and threw him in the water. Or unalived him and pushed his body in a place where they know it will wash up on shore, where they will find him. But there's definitely some foul play here. It don't seem right. They need to get all their phones and go and check the satellites where they can go and see what was deleted. There's a whole bunch of things I'm sure that they're doing now because I know that the federal authorities and everybody else is getting involved because this could be looked at as a hate crime, right? This is definitely a criminal investigation. There's no way in the world 4 guys go out, only 3 come back, and they come back with his cell phone, right? But Ben Crump, he wasn't finished talking.
We know that he was with his friends. They went out on Horn Island, as Charles said. He was the only black teenager that was there. And, you know, all of them came back safely on the boat with his cell phone, Harvey, but Nolan's body was found washed up on the shore on Monday morning. His family is not accepting that it was an accidental drowning. They haven't been told anything, but that's been the suggestion, and they're not accepting that because Nolan was a college football player. He was a superior athlete. He was in great fitness and condition. And so for them to try to say, well, we got his phone, but we don't know where he's at, and then he turns up dead, they are not accepting it. And there are so many questions, so many contradictions.
No, there is one friend, a young woman who has come forward and has spoken to the police, and I'm wondering if she's spoken to you and how her version of events differ from what the other friends have said.
She hasn't spoken to us, but we know her statement that she released publicly. She said that she was talking to Nolan, and then Nolan said, well, I'm going back to the boat with the guys I came with. That's her version. She said that he did not leave with her, that he went back and got in the boat with the other boys. Well, the boys say that when they was talking to Nolan, he said he wasn't going to get in the boat with them, that he was going to stay with her, stay behind with her. Their statements contradict one another, and that is something that's very troubling. On top of the fact that we know there are videos circulating where there's an argument where you hear Nolan arguing with somebody, and we're trying to say this is too much to just try to sweep under the rug.
This is why the federal authorities have to get involved, and you can't run everything back to the state. You can't expect the states or these cities, Mississippi and these towns to handle anything in regards to black people. No, the history speaks for itself. You can't do it. We got an incident, another drowning incident that happened in April with a black man in Texas that went out fishing with 2 W boys and it ended up face down in the river, right? It didn't get national coverage, but it's there. It's there. I need to do a video on that as well, right? So this whole thing is crazy. You got to get the federal authorities involved. That got to come in, question the police, question that judge, that stepmom. They got to look at get those phone records. They got to make sure they search those towers. They need to look at drone footage. They need to see everything. There needs to be a thorough investigation, because with all the technology we got today, somebody saw something, somebody recorded something. But what happens is when you allow these police districts to handle this, they cover everything up the same way they did in the Carmelo Anthony case. They cover everything up. So the federal authorities are going to have to get involved with this, because this could be a potential hate crime. But y'all let me know what y'all think, man. If you made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Subscribe to Street Media TV. Leave your comments in the comment section. And remember, I love y'all. Till the next time, peace.